Think about it. Your cat could sleep on the sofa, on the windowsill, on a soft blanket in another room, and yet somehow, almost every single night, it walks all the way back to you. Why? Most people assume it's simple. They think their cat just wants warmth, or whatever soft surface happens to be nearby. But that's not the real story. Sleeping beside you is one of the clearest forms of communication your cat has. And once you understand what it actually means, you'll never look at those quiet nights the same way again. Because underneath that calm, curled up little body, there's a whole conversation happening. One your cat can't say out loud, but is telling you anyway. Every single night. And the first message they're sending you is far more emotional than you'd expect. Picture this for a moment. Out in the wild, closing your eyes means losing all awareness of danger. For a small animal, that one moment of total vulnerability could mean the difference between life and death. So when your cat settles down and drifts off right beside you, it isn't doing something small. It's making a decision, one that deep in its instincts still carries real weight. That decision is built on one thing: trust that it took time to form. When your cat picks your side of the bed, night after night, they're telling you without a single sound that you are the safest place they know. And if that already feels like a lot to carry in one quiet gesture, wait until you see what happens when two cats trust each other the same way. In social groups, cats that feel safe together will sleep touching, or pile together in a warm little heap, sharing space in a way they never would with a stranger. When your cat sleeps with you, it's placing you inside that same circle, not as an owner, as family. There's a real difference between a cat that simply tolerates your presence and one that chooses to rest against you. Tolerance looks like distance. Real attachment looks like contact, that small weight against your leg, that spot they claim on your pillow. That's your cat quietly saying, "You belong to my world." Now imagine walking into a completely dark room. You can't see a thing. But then one familiar scent reaches you, and instantly your whole body relaxes. That's remarkably close to what happens for your cat. Every time they press their face into your pillow, a cat's sense of smell is extraordinarily powerful, far sharper than ours, and scent is deeply tied to how safe they feel. Your smell becomes an anchor, consistent, familiar, always the same, no matter what else changes in their world. That's why they gravitate toward your blanket, your chest, the warm curve of your neck. It's your cat surrounding itself with the one thing that tells its whole nervous system: everything is fine here. But here's where things get a little more mysterious, because one particular sleeping position has quietly puzzled animal behaviorists for years, and it may reveal something your cat feels that most owners completely overlook. We'll come back to that. First, there's something else happening while you sleep, something you'd never notice unless someone pointed it out. Even in rest, cats never fully switch off their awareness. Their sleep drifts through light, alert phases, especially in a home where sounds and shadows shift throughout the night. This is part of why so many cats choose to sleep near your head, or right against the bedroom door. Some behaviorists believe they may be keeping a subtle kind of watch over their surroundings, which naturally includes you. Nobody is saying your cat stands guard like a dog at the front gate, but there's a quiet, watchful thread running underneath all that softness, one paw resting close enough to notice if something changes. So while you sleep peacefully, there's a decent chance your cat isn't quite as switched off as it looks, And that awareness stretches even further than you'd think, because cats are remarkably attentive to patterns. Sleeping close to you night after night, they begin memorizing the small details of who you are. Your breathing, the way your body shifts through the night, the almost exact time you tend to wake up, over weeks and months. Something like a quiet synchronization starts to form. Your cat's internal clock begins adjusting itself around yours. That's part of why some cats seem to sense you're about to wake up before your alarm even goes off. They've been studying you this whole time, in their own quiet way, weaving their days around the shape of yours. Now here's the part that tends to surprise people the most. There's a small but growing body of research suggesting cats can pick up on our emotional states, not just our schedules. Several behavioral studies point to cats noticing shifts in a person's voice, facial expression, and daily routine, and adjusting their own behavior in response. Many owners describe the exact same pattern. Their cat becomes more affectionate, more present, precisely during the hardest weeks of their life, almost as if it's somehow new. That soft purring against your chest at 2 in the morning may be doing more than comforting itself. It may, in its own limited way, be trying to offer something back to you. It's a small, strange reminder. This bond runs in both directions. You were never the only one paying attention here. Now, back to that sleeping position we mentioned earlier, because where your cat chooses to rest can reveal even more than you'd expect. If they curl up right on your chest, they're placing themselves exactly where they can feel your heartbeat and your breathing, about as close as closeness gets. If they settle near your feet, it's often a lighter form of affection, comfort without needing constant contact. If they claim your pillow entirely, they're surrounding themselves in your scent as completely as they possibly can. If they press against your back, they may be seeking warmth and a shared sense of protection at the same time. And if they linger by the bedroom door instead of right beside you, they're often keeping one foot in both worlds, close enough to you, but still quietly watching the rest of the house. None of these are fixed rules carved in stone, but together, they sketch out a picture of a relationship built on comfort, memory, and a kind of quiet emotional loyalty. But what happens when all of this suddenly changes? If a cat that always slept beside you stops seemingly overnight, that shift is worth paying attention to. It doesn't automatically mean something is wrong, but it rarely means nothing either. Sometimes it's something small, a change in temperature, a new piece of furniture, a shift somewhere in the household routine. Other times it could be connected to age, mild discomfort, or a health issue that hasn't fully shown itself yet. The goal here isn't to panic over every little change. It's simply to notice. Cats communicate constantly through small shifts in behavior, and a change in sleeping habits is one of the clearest signals they have. If something feels different for more than a few days, a quiet conversation with your vet is never a bad idea, because underneath all of this is a truth that's easy to miss in the middle of ordinary life. Every night your cat chooses to sleep beside you, it's making a decision, one built on trust, comfort, familiarity, and something that looks a lot like love. They can't explain any of this in words. They'll never be able to tell you what that warm little body pressed against yours actually means to them. But they don't need to, because they're already telling you every single night in the only language they have. So the next time your cat curls up beside you and starts to drift off, take a moment before you close your eyes too. Long after the lights go out, When the whole world falls silent, your cat makes that same choice again. Not because there's nowhere else to sleep, but because, in its eyes, home was never really the bed. Home is you.